Hi there folks, welcome to this week's weekly Forex Forecast, Monday the 13th of December, soon be Christmas. Okay, so we've got a really busy week now. This is going to be the busiest week, I think now, towards the end of the year. Lots going on, more about that when we get onto the economic calendar in a moment. Of course, the Omicron variant is spreading around the world. Not that you're seeing that in the stock market. Stock markets at the moment poised just around all-time highs. Let's have a quick look at what we're looking at in this week's Forex Forecast. Come on. Okay, so in order to access this weekly forecast, head over to the forexsignals.com website. Just scroll right down to the bottom where you see all the bells and whistles. Click on Forex Forecast and up it will come. You can read more and there you go. So this week I'm looking at a pound against the US dollar. I'll show you that on a chart in a moment. Basically it's been in a nice solid downtrend at the moment. Pound is one of the weaker currencies. US dollar is one of the stronger currencies, and both have central bank meetings this week. One is verging on the side of dovishness, that's the British pound. One is verging on the side of hawkishness, that's the US dollar. So the fundamentals are backing up this trend continuation play to the downside. Also looking at the euro ECB, they have been pretty dovish in their statements lately, basically saying they ain't moving interest rates in 2023, maybe not until 2024. So the euro has been coming under pressure. We've been in a bit of a range, the euro against the yen. Yen might find some safe haven bids this week, which might see this consolidation range now test the lower band of that consolidation area. So that's selling the euro against the Japanese yen. But make sure you put your own strategies in here. These are just biases. These are not trade signals for you to follow and make money on. I don't have any money of my own on the short euro yen trade, but it is a bias that I am looking at. Max is looking at the NAS100. That's the US stock market. That's the tech market called the NASDAQ. He's looking at 16,500 for that. He's basically seeing this range here as well, hitting the upper sort of resistance and a follow through now likely to be to the downside. So that's basically what he's looking at. But head over to the site and you can get the report and read all about it. He's also looking at a weekly gap attack in the pound against the Swiss franc with a bullish trend continuation up to 123.40. Again, not a signal, but a bias. So head over to the site, get the report and read all about it. Let's have a quick look now at some charts. Okay, so this is a chart of the British pound against the US dollar, affectionately known as cable. Why cable? Because there used to be a big cable going across the Atlantic with gold fixing prices many years ago. Right, okay, so looking here on the right hand side of the screen, I've got the daily chart. Let's just expand that out. You can see here that the 136 zone has been a meaningful level of support all the way down. We broke back basically through there at around the beginning of November, and since then we have been on a downtrend. Drilling down to the 4-hour chart, you can see here that since we've broken through this level of structural support, we've had a few pullbacks, but none of the pullbacks that we've seen have basically been more than two average true ranges. Average true range is basically the average of the range you see on a 4-hour period. So I always like to look at a 280R pullback and then a 280R stop for my trend continuation play. So none of these basically entries with the pullbacks that you've seen would have basically been stopped out, because obviously that would be a 480R pullback. Not a bad little strategy to trade using simple ATR with trend. So at the moment this is in a solid downtrend. We've got the British pound under pressure, as you know. MPC this week unlikely to shift interest rates, and of course we've got the Fed, which may be slightly more hawkish. Let's have a quick look at the economic calendar this week. Okay, so in order to access this economic calendar, head over to the forexsignals.com website, scroll right down to the bottom, and you'll see here the Forex economic calendar. Click on that and there you'll see the calendar for the week ahead. As I say, there's lots to play for. This is a week of central bank rate decisions, multiple central banks. I think I read somewhere there's 20 central banks that are going to be deciding on interest rates. I'm not going to go through all of them. We'll just look at the main ones. Okay, so the correct way to read one of these is looking on the right hand side. Anything in red is high impact news, anything in green is low impact, and yellow is in the middle. Very important that you use one of these if you're trading, even if you're not trading the news, just to ensure you don't get caught out by unexpected events. So basically, we have got a bit of a quiet start to the week. On midweek, we've got some inflation data out of the UK, which is quite important because, of course, Bank of England meet later in the week. I'll show you that in a second. So we've got CPI, which is inflation. 4.7 is what they are going for. Remember, central banks have a mandate to control inflation at 2%, looking at 4.7. Okay, we've got also some data out of Canada, CPI out of Canada as well, and they're going for 3.4. Global inflation, as you have seen, has been soaring since the pandemic due to supply concerns and so forth. Import prices in the US as well, they put this as a low impact news event. It sometimes moves the markets depending how out of whack it is, but of course the main event will be on the 15th. That is the Fed. FOMC stands for Federal Open Market Committee. It's basically when they decide on interest rates. Unlikely they'll be moving interest rates. You can see here they're going for an estimate of 0.25, and we're at 0.25 at the moment. But it's always the statement, the press conference afterwards, that we have to pay attention to. They also will be talking about their asset purchasing. Basically, at that moment they are scheduling in to pull back on all their asset purchasing, which is a hawkish, which is a sort of upward pressure on interest rates. So if they continue along that path, you may see the dollar come under more support as well. GDP out there as well. We've got the European Council meeting as well. That's on the 16th, so that's the Euro ECB. So pay attention to that. Again, high impact news event. We've got lots of PMI data out as well. Markets love a PMI. It's a forward-looking indicator. So basically it's a survey. And then, of course, you've got the Bank of England later on in the week on the 16th, which, of course, is on Thursday. It's when the Bank of England decide on interest rates as well. And the ECB policy decision is actually on the same day. So it's going to be a really busy day. If you're trading the Forex markets, you want to be around for this day, even if you're not trading. Later on in the week, we've got retail sales out of the US, and of course we've got the weekly jobless numbers as well. Lots to play for this week. As I say, could be the busiest week of that we're going to see now up until the end of the year. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you don't already do so. It's good to see so many now have subscribed to the channel over the years. Don't forget you can follow us on all the socials as well if you don't already do so. Leave a comment as well. Let me know what you think of these Forex Forecast videos. It's been an absolute pleasure making these videos for you over the years. I do hope you found them useful. So, till next time, see you soon.